Prologue. Grayson Pines, Oregon, a secluded town where pine trees grow thicker than secrets. Known for logging, heavy snowfalls, and a bizarre local legend, the Watchers. No one ever took them seriously, until people began disappearing. 1. Arrival. Tasha Williams was tired of Los Angeles. After a messy breakup and the death of her father, she wanted a fresh start. When her late uncle left her a cabin in Grayson Pines, she saw it as fate. The drive up was long, winding through misty pine forests, cell signal dying with every turn. But when she arrived, the place felt peaceful. Or so she thought. 2. The cabin in the pines. The cabin was old but sturdy. A few repairs were needed, but it was livable. The neighbors were miles away. The air smelled of sap and snow. Tasha unpacked, lit a fire, and sipped whiskey on the porch. That's when she noticed them. Eyes. Glowing amber eyes, reflecting in the tree line across the clearing. They blinked in perfect unison, then vanished. 3. A warning at the store. The next morning, she visited the town's only general store. The clerk, a man in his 60s with a gray beard, eyed her warily when she mentioned the cabin. "You stayin' at the old Crowley place?" he asked. "Yeah, my uncle left it to me." "Why?" He paused. "Don't go outside after dark. And don't look too long into the woods. They don't like being watched." Tasha laughed nervously. "Who?" "The Watchers," he said plainly. "They've always been here." 4. Voices in the snow. 3 days passed. Each night, the same thing. Glowing eyes in the woods. Tasha tried to rationalize. Maybe deer or mountain lions. But on the 4th night, she heard whispering. Soft. Layered. Like multiple voices at once. Saying her name. Greater than, "Tasha. You see us. Now we see you." She shut all the windows. Nailed the door. Slept with a kitchen knife under her pillow. 5. The book in the basement. While cleaning the basement, Tasha found a trunk. Inside were journals, her uncle's. The latest entries were erratic. Greater than, "They're everywhere now. They watch from the trees, from the shadows. I should never have fed them." Greater than, "They can't come in unless invited. I made the mistake once." They mimic voices now, even hers. Tasha turned pale. Her uncle hadn't died of a heart attack like the town claimed. He'd vanished in these very woods. No body was ever found. 6. The deer skull ritual. One journal entry mentioned an old ritual to banish the Watchers. It involved 3 things: a circle of pine ash, a deer skull, blood from the aware. At dawn, she ventured into the woods to find a skull. The forest was dead silent. No birds, no wind. In a clearing, she found a deer, dead but fresh. Antlers intact. Its eyes were missing. Carved into its side was a symbol, an open eye with branches for lashes. She gagged but took the skull. The forest
7.
growled around
The
her.
first disappearance back in town, she told the sheriff what she found. He was dismissive. "You city folks always come up here looking for horror stories." But later that night, the sheriff was gone. His truck found at the edge of the woods. Door open, blood on the seat. The townsfolk said nothing. 8. The Watchers come close. That night, Tasha heard her father's voice outside her window. Greater than, "Tasha, come on, sweetheart. Let me in. It's cold out here." She froze. Her father had died 2 months ago, in LA. She whispered through the door, "Prove it's you." The voice changed, glitched. Greater than, "We are your blood." She screamed and lit the pine ash circle she had set up earlier. The shadows hissed. The voices retreated into the trees. 9. The historian. Tasha met with Maylene, the town historian. A quiet woman in her 80s who hadn't left her home in decades. She revealed the legend. The Watchers came with the first settlers. A forest god, broken into thousands of eyes. They see through animals, shadows, dreams. She handed Tasha a black and white photo from 1901. In it, a man stood near the cabin. Behind him, in the trees, were dozens of eyes. Faint, watching. They fed it, then trapped it, but now you've stirred them again. 10. The bait. Tasha had one idea left. If the Watchers needed invitation, she'd set a trap. She played a recording of herself crying and calling for help, then set it on a loop outside the door. Inside,
She placed pine ash, iron nails, and salt. At midnight, they came. Shapes. Tall, thin, wrapped in bark. Faces featureless, except for the eyes. So many eyes. One approached the door, listened. It reached out, paused, and mimicked her voice perfectly. Greater than, please, I'm scared, let me in. Tasha held her breath. 11. The fire in the trees. The watchers couldn't get in, but they were angry. They surrounded the cabin, whispered for hours. When that failed, they set the forest ablaze. Fire from nothing. Trees erupted around the clearing, lighting the night red. Tasha fled out the back with her uncle's journal and the deer skull. But the watchers didn't follow her through the flames. They feared fire. She had a new weapon. 12. The final stand. Tasha returned the next day, armed with gasoline, ash, and symbols carved from her uncle's notes. She created a large circle around the cabin and waited. They came again at midnight. This time, she invited them in, but only one. As it crossed the threshold, she set the cabin ablaze. It screamed, a dozen voices howling from inside one throat. The rest shrieked and disappeared into the trees. Tasha collapsed, watching the fire burn the evil out of the house. 13. Aftermath. The town didn't ask questions. They simply watched the cabin smolder. Some believed Tasha, others pretended not to, but no one else went missing after that. The woods, though, never felt the same. Sometimes, at night, townsfolk still hear whispers in the trees. Greater than, you saw us once, we will see you again. Epilogue. 3 years later, a YouTube urban explorer finds the ruins of the cabin. He livestreams as he walks the charred remains, laughing at the silly watcher's legend. Then he sees them, amber eyes in the trees. He chuckles. Cool edit, bro. The stream glitches, goes black. All that remains is a single frame, his face, frozen in terror. And behind him, 1,000 eyes, watching. Fire ShadowSpeak presents The Watchers of Grayson Pines, a haunting new tale from America's forgotten forests.